Hello and welcome to today's tutorial with me, Jurassics. Hope you're doing well. Today we are building a gold farm using our zombie piglins and some magma blocks and a few principles, but it's a really easy and simple design and you can make it in a number of different ways. So hopefully you will watch the whole tutorial so that you can get a really good understanding and know what to do with each part. So without further ado, let's get on with it, shall we? Firstly, what you're going to need to do is find your nether waste. So if you take a look at the screen, I'll put up where you should look. Press F3 to find your nether waste biome. Once you've done that, we can then get on with the rest of the build. So before we start building this farm, we just need to talk about a couple of principles just so that we understand it, and that will make building this farm a little easier and a little bit more with understanding. So firstly, need to get on top of the nether roof. As you can see, we are up here. Check out the video in the top right on how to get up here and also how to break this bedrock. So firstly, we want to move over here, and one of the main things you'll need are magma blocks. So you'll need anywhere from 3,000 of these blocks, which is quite a lot. So a couple of different ways of getting them. If you've already got a slime farm and a blaze farm, can combine the blaze powder and slime balls to make magma cream. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio, and then you will need 4 magma creams to get a magma block. The other way is to go into the nether and to mine it, and you will find that there are big seams of magma or magma blocks, so actually it becomes relatively easy. But the other thing that will be handy to have is some fire resistance potions if you're collecting magma blocks. Never know when you're going to fall in the lava. And also some frostwalker boots. So I've got a pair on, and I'm standing on this magma block and I'm seeing no damage from the magma block. As soon as I take these off, we're starting to take damage. So those will make placing these blocks a lot easier, and also working in the nether will be a lot easier as well. So the other thing you will need is some turtle eggs, and there's a quick and easy way to get these, and let's jump over to Jurassics in the overworld where we can see how we get these. So what you want to do is find some turtles and start breeding them with some seagrass. You want to ideally find them on the beach already, and then that way they won't have far to go before they start breeding and to laying the eggs. And we should see one of these very soon laying the eggs, and then hopefully they should lay a few at a time. And there we go, we have 4 eggs there in total, so we can get a silk touch pickaxe and just harvest those eggs, or silk touch, and we're good to go. So now that we've got all of those little things out the way, let's talk about how we can build this farm. So we've got 2 designs over here. So what we need to do is make sure that we're on top of the nether roof and our AFK platform is at the build limit. That way we're only loading whatever's above the nether roof. Then that way it gives us all of the room in between to build our farm. So how does that look like? Well, firstly, you can either build your chest or your storage area right on top of the bedrock, or you can raise it up a bit. But what you do need on top of the storage is at least a 25 block drop, and that will mean that the zombie pigmen that are coming off the magma blocks, when they fall down, it's enough full damage to kill them, and then you won't have any gathering on top of your collection area. And then once you get to the spawning platforms, what you want to do is either use this design or this one you can fit in more, this one gives a bit more space, up to you really. depends how many platforms you want to build. So on this design we have a 2-block gap, and on this one a 3-block gap. And the only difference is, instead of having a specific block for the turtle egg to be on top, we remove that block completely, and we still allow for that 2-block gap above the turtle egg, which the zombie pigmen need so that they will move towards it and try and stomp on it. The trapdoors will stop them getting to the egg, and then they'll think that this is a full block, and then they'll fall down the gap in between. And then you can work that all the way up so you can fit in as many platforms as you like. But at the top here you need to have at least a 24-block gap from the top of your highest spawning platform. Otherwise you will put in that platform and there'll be nothing spawning on it, so it's really a waste of your time, so saving you the hassle there. Once you get to the top, you'll then need to put some glass on top to stop ghast spawning. So go up 2 blocks and then place glass above it. Make sure you leave the space above the turtle eggs. And then what you want to do is also, if you don't want to do a full roof of glass, is leave a 2-wide gap between the glasses in every direction. Otherwise, if you go 3 blocks, you will get ghast spawning. So that's the principle of how to build it. So in regards to the zombie piglin, they do have a spawning area where they can run towards the egg. So if we place one here, he won't make any movement towards the egg, he'll just stand there, and maybe he'll walk that way, maybe he'll walk that way. But if we place one there, we'll see momentarily, yep, there we go, he had a little push from his mate, but he did start walking. The big issue is if we create a spawning platform this big, you are creating space more than double away in terms of surface area for piglins to spawn in, and they're not the fastest movers, they're really not. So typically the best distance to have blocks away from your turtle eggs is a maximum of 12. And then that way they get there pretty quickly and you can have more respawning afterwards. And that is the principles of how to build this gold farm. So let's put this into practice. I'll build a simple one for you to use in however manner you feel suits you best. You can make changes depending on what we've discussed here. So these are the main items you'll need for this build, and I'll put a full list and quantity down below for the square farm, so a 12 radius magma block platform. You'll also need glass of any colour, trapdoors of any type, and carpet, as well as some building blocks. I always like to use stone bricks, and plenty of scaffolding. So I've found my place in the nether wastes, and I've got plenty of room in all directions for this, so it's not going to overlap with anything. And then what we want to do is from this block we're going to go up 10. So there we go, we are up 10, and now we're just going to put in a little chest collection system. So go off the back here, so we'll just do a small platform and then put hoppers into the back, and then we'll do another row of chests just to give us some extra storage, and then hoppers into the back here. And then from that we're going to go out another 3 by 3. So there'll be 12 hoppers in total here. And then we're going to place our carpet on top of each one of these hoppers, like so. And that's just to stop zombie or the piglins from spawning on top. Now we're going to get our white stained glass. Could be any type of glass. And we're just going to go round in all three, or all round this collection area. There we go, we don't need those. And then from this point we're going to go up 24. And there we go, we've got our falling area for our zombie piglins. Now we're going to grab a temporary block and place it like so. So we've got 25 glass blocks, and then this will make the 26th going up. So we're just going to jump over, and I'm going to do the slightly wider version, so give ourselves a bit more space. So we're placing 3 blocks in between each one of our stone bricks, which is where we're going to put the eggs on. So now we've got to the top, we just want to go 2 more. So 1, 2, and then jump back down onto here, and then we've got to put trapdoors on the outside, and then also turtle eggs in the middle. So easiest way to do it is just to put the trapdoors on. Oh. So once you get to the top, you want to open up the trapdoors and break the glass, and then we're going to put a turtle egg on top of the building block that we've put here. Just need 1, don't need any more than that. That will be plenty to get our friends the piglins upset. There we go, working our way down. And obviously if you've got more layers to this, then you'll need to do this more times for each layer. There we go, so we've got our 4 turtle eggs in, and they've got a 2 block gap above them, so the zombie piglins still think they can break in and stomp on them, but unfortunately they'll get here and fall all the way down. So from here we now need to put in our magma blocks. So grab a shulker box full of magma blocks, because you'll need at least 1 of those, if not 2, depending on the number of platforms you are looking to build. So I'm going to do a circular design on this part of the tutorial, but I'll show you a square based later on, so check out that if you prefer. As long as you go no further than 12 blocks away from the glass, then it will still work and be relatively efficient. And why not? Let's do a little comparison at the end to see which one works best. Okay, so from here we're going to place our first block. So there's 1 gap where this trapdoor would sort of fill the gap, so there's still enough for the pigment to go down. So we're going to come out 12. So if you're building a circle design, you want to find a circle with a diameter of 27 to account for these blocks in the middle. So if you're building the square farm, you need to come out 12 in each direction, and then just come and fill out the corners. And it may well be a very good idea, as you will see when you get to the end of the video. So from here we're going to just follow this round and out. And that's our first layer of a 12 radii circle. So now we've got to do that for the next 3 layers. So now we've got all of our platforms in place, we can come up to the top of our tower. We'll just jump onto it because it's easier to place blocks than on scaffolding, and then place our glass like so. So this leaves this top block open, so that the zombie piglins still believe they can get to that egg. And then we just need to cover the top of this with glass with a minimum or maximum gap of 2 between each glass. So if you want to cover it completely, you can. If you don't and you want to save glass and time, then you just need to leave a 2 wide gap between each each glass that you're placing. And there we have it. We have our platform all ready to go, and we're already seeing some spawning. Oh, we've just left a couple of bits of glass, so we'll remove those. Now the next step is to go all the way up to the build limit. So grab your scaffolding and start placing until you can't place anymore. There we go, we are at the build height limit, so we'll go all the way up. And once you get to the top, what you want to do is break that top one, place a glass block above it, and then come 2 or 3 out, up to you. Depends how good, if you're using a elytra to land up here. If you want it slightly bigger, as long as you're using glass to stop any spawning, then you will be fine. So there we go. That is that, and I believe we should, yeah, we're seeing our zombie piglins spawning, so that is a very good sign indeed. And that is our 4-layer farm done. You may find that you get some magma blocks spawning on top, but they will eventually find their way off the platform and despawn down below. So I guess now we just need to look at the square version of this, and then we're going to run a comparison for you. So after being AFK for an hour, we have 645 ingots, which is 81 gold blocks, which isn't too bad, but I think the square farm may have just pipped it to the post. Let's check that out as well. So after an hour of AFK at the square farm, we have 819 ingots, which is 91 gold blocks. So actually it turns out the square farm is the more efficient of the two farms. So with that final bit of information, we can say relatively definitively that this is the better design, although I still stick by it. The circle design looks much cooler, and you can make it into something that looks very interesting in the nether. So that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully it's been well worth your time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Jurassic's World or in the next tutorial, but we'll see you soon. Bye!